Welcome to Voiceprint with Trevor Devall and Guests. And now, your host and mine, Trevor Devall.
It's nothing like having your own built-in studio audience. Welcome, friends, enemies, whoever you are, once again to Voiceprint with Trevor Devall and Guests. I am, as always, I'm drunk. I'm your drunk friend, Trevor. I am your intrepid host. And this is episode 35 of Voiceprint, a very special episode, as they all are. But this one is a very special episode. I have in the studio with me a lovely, lovely young lady who is a tremendously talented actress. So let's hear a little clip of her work.
You were nothing but a doormat, and Iron Will turned you into a lean, mean, assertive machine! Now, pay Iron Will what you owe Iron Will!
No.
What did you say?
No.
Oh, I'd hate to be you right now, because Iron Will is gonna rain down a world of hurt unless Iron Will gets his money! Pronto!
As I recall, during your workshop you promised 100% satisfaction guaranteed or you pay nothing. Well, I'm not satisfied.
What do you mean you're not satisfied? Every pony has always been satisfied!
Well, I guess I'm the first then. But since I'm not satisfied, I refuse to pay. It's as simple as that.
Are you sure you're not just a little bit satisfied? Because maybe we could cut a deal. I mean, we're both reasonable creatures, aren't we?
I'm sorry, but no means no.
No means no, huh? Nobody's ever said that to me before. I gotta remember that one. That's a good catchphrase for my next workshop.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, the miraculous Andrea Libman.
Hi.
Welcome.
What a great clip.
Well, I thought it was appropriate.
It was. It's perfect.
Somehow I thought it was strangely appropriate, you know? When I first heard that clip, when I first heard the show, I didn't realize that they had affected my voice. I didn't realize that they had made me kind of deeper.
No, me
down
neither.
there. And I was a bit, so I guess my performance wasn't good enough. Fine, whatever.
No, it sounds good. I like the contrast.
It is, and that was a nice little clip.
It was. It was
Two
really
professionals at work. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We've got a lot to get through and limited time to do it, so we are going to dive right into your history.
Uh-oh.
And now, Voiceprint with Trevor Devall and Guests presents In Memoriam, a history of our guests' long and faithful service to the cause of voice acting.
So you've never listened to the show before, so you don't know all these ridiculous little...
No, I love it. I'm so entertained right now.
IMDb has pages and pages and pages on you. I'm going to grab some at random. Obviously, the first one up here is the big one, at least the big one du jour. My Little Pony. Wow, I really can't talk. My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic.
Is that a big one?
That's a big one.
Yeah.
You think? You think maybe?
I think
a little
maybe.
bit?
Yeah.
What's the deal, man? What do you thought about the whole about the brony thing? I mean, because you're a lot closer to it than I am, obviously.
Well, you're getting closer and closer.
Slowly, they pull me in.
They
slowly.
do. They do. They will. It's amazing. It's so surprising. We couldn't believe it when we first heard about it, but it's awesome. It's
how long has the show been going now? Like, how many seasons has My Little Pony been on?
Third season is airing right now.
Third season is airing right now. So when was the first one? What year was first? Do you remember?
No.
Do
Probably 4 years ago, I guess.
Wow. Very
Yeah.
successful.
Yeah.
And your two of the main characters, of course, Fluttershy and Pinkie Pie.
That is correct.
That is correct.
Yes.
And Fluttershy is the very timid one, and Pinkie Pie is sort of the spazzy one.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Fluttershy's very soft and shy, and you know she kind of got in an implication with your character.
That's right.
Iron Will, because you're a big bully. And Pinkie Pie's super loud and crazy.
Pinkie Pie needs a limiter on her track, I think.
He really does. Do you know, I teach piano, and I was teaching one of my students yesterday, and my parents are going, we need to watch My Little Pony. We need to listen to Andrea's voice. And she goes, I tried to watch that. She goes, Pinkie Pie is so obnoxious. I go, that was my intention.
It's a good legacy to have.
Yes.
Huge show, obviously, and just keeps getting bigger. The pony convention circuit is a massive thing now, which I'm just beginning to get involved with. So, it's a great show to be involved with. Strawberry Shortcake, also you're on the show as Lemon Meringue. Is that right?
Yes.
And I know nothing about that show. I haven't been on it. That's another little girl show.
Yeah, there's no boys allowed. Except Sam Vincent.
Well, that tells you something, doesn't it? I think,
it sure does.
Not that I'm suggesting anything. There's a bunch of stuff here. Care Bears to the Rescue. Was that a movie or was it a series?
I think, there was a series and there was a couple of DVDs.
And you were in the series as well? And who did you play?
Harmony Bear.
Harmony Bear.
Yes.
And what was the symbol on your belly?
Some flowers.
Some flowers.
Yes.
Oh, I see. Well, very nice.
But she was a singing bear. She'd
Oh,
always
yes.
sing and people would get annoyed.
And you were a singer as well, are you not,
Yes,
Andrea?
that's right.
And do you do a lot of singing on the shows that you voice?
I do, yeah. On My Little Pony, I sing for Fluttershy. And I sometimes sing for Pinkie Pie. But I started singing, I've done a lot of singing. I used to do Madeline.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
For over 10 years.
Right.
And we did a ton of singing, full, big production.
Wow.
And there's CDs for that and everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, you're a real talent. Somebody's talented in the room. There's a whole bunch here, including anime and stuff like this. A Monster Buster Club. Was that an anime or was that a...
No, that was a prelay.
That was a prelay.
Yeah.
I think...
We've probably done anime together
I think
without
we
knowing
have.
it. I'm
Yeah,
sure we have.
I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah.
What else? You've done some Barbies as well. Barbie and a Mermaid Tale.
Yep.
Yes. Who did you... You don't remember that one? I don't remember that one either. That's
I
all right.
have it at home.
What is this? My Little Pony Live, the world's biggest tea party? Do you know what that one is?
No.
Wow, that's strange. It's strange. IMDb...
Not always.
Not so much with the accurates, so I wouldn't... Ricky Sprocket. Do you remember doing Ricky Sprocket back in the day?
Oh, that was a really fun show.
Yeah. Were you a regular on that one?
I was. I played the enemy, the arch nemesis.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Were you-
Diva.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Was that a little girl?
Yes. It was about a show about child stars.
Right.
And the main character was Ricky Sprocket, and he's a boy child
Right.
star, and I was a little girl child star. That was absolute nightmare. And loved it. So fun.
Do you play a little voice?
Yes.
You do?
Sometimes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because I know it's a very common thing with female voice artists to produce the voices of the little boys. Lots of Barbie stuff here. What else have we got down? Tons of My Little Pony. Just keeps going on and on and on. Dragon Tales?
Yeah.
Dragon Tales, that was a fairly big one in its day.
It was a huge one. I played Emmy on that, the little girl.
Yeah, I remember seeing a script for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the leads, right?
Yeah.
Look at you. My Little Pony, My Little Pony. X-Men Evolution.
Yes?
Do you remember X-Men Evolution?
I do now, thanks to Bronies bringing it to my attention. I went back, I don't know when I would have done that, probably 15 years
Well,
ago.
according to this, it was 2003.
Oh, it wasn't that long ago, was
So
it?
not so long ago.
So I watched the clip. That's a
Yeah.
cool one.
X-23 apparently was your character on that
Yeah.
one. I don't know who that is. I'm not a comic guy. I don't know
He's like a creepy kind of,
Creepy, like villain type?
like sort of mysterious type.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yakety Yak.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
another. That was Lee, wasn't it? Who played
It was Lee, yeah.
Lee Tokar, who played the lead in that. You've done your time here. Dragon Ball, apparently.
Yes, yeah, Chi-Chi.
Chi-Chi, or as I was about to say, Chai Chai.
Oh,
because
no.
I'm
Good thing I
unable.
jumped in
Good
there.
thing.
Yeah, you're welcome.
My listeners are very used to me butchering the names of all these characters. So that's wow. Madeline, Lost in Paris. Was that a movie?
Yeah, that was a movie.
And you said you did that for 10 years?
Yeah.
That-
On and off the series.
Oh,
Just
wow.
kept going and going and DVDs and yeah.
Boy, it's nice to get on one of those, isn't it?
Sure is.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
That's what I like.
Sabrina, the animated series,
Oh, yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah, I was
guess.
just a guest on that one. I think.
Right.
A recurring geek.
And what about Reboot?
Oh, Reboot. Yeah, I played Andrea
And-
before she matured.
Oh, I see. Reboot, of course, huge show. It was the first big CG show and done right here in beautiful downtown Vancouver. That's a huge thing. Wow, you've done a lot of big things that even I recognize. Vampire Hunter, which I recognize. Dragon Ball Z, which I recognize. That's a huge one, Dragon Ball Z.
That's good.
Again, Madeline, all kinds of stuff. Little Red Riding Hood.
I think that's like an anime dubbing.
Apparently they gave you the name Andrea Libman.
Really?
Andrea Libman.
Oh, do you know, I think on the hub in the States, people have sent me pictures and it says Andrew Libman.
Oh.
Like, here's My Little Pony starring. So there's all kinds of names. Yeah.
Dino Babies?
Oh, that was my first
That was your first show?
Yeah.
90, 94, 95, is that right?
Well, we recorded it earlier than that.
Wow.
And it was with Sam, Vincent, Scott McNeil, Kathleen Barr.
So the usual suspects.
The usual. Matt Hill. But I have some really good incriminating photos. And I'm like wearing a Blossom hat and my purple glasses. Like 8 years old.
8 years old. Wow. So that was your first show.
That was my first
show.
show.
I want to come back to that. I want to come back to your whole, how you got into the business. But
I wouldn't want to get out of the section of history.
That's right.
That's right.
That's
okay.
right. We run a very
Get
tight
in line,
ship
girl.
here. And you do on-camera stuff as well.
Not anymore.
Not anymore, but back in the day?
Back in the day.
X-Files?
Yes.
I presume you were playing a little girl.
Oh, well, sort of. I was a little girl possessed by a dead cop.
Oh.
And I go around taking revenge and murdering people.
So you were creepy.
Oh, of course.
Naturally.
Just like my real person.
I was going to say, creepy then as now.
Yeah, that's when I really started my creepiness.
Well, it's a good show to start on. Let's face it.
Yeah.
Again, big animes here. Mega Man, Ranma 1/2.
What is that? Something you can't say?
Well, I can't say it, but it's hilarious to me. Anybody who's been on IMDb who's looked at this will know that sometimes they'll put the name of a show, like an anime show, but they'll write it phonetically as though it was said in a Japanese accent. So I'm looking at this. What is Dragon Ball? Oh, Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball Z. Kamehameha. Anyway, tremendous amount of stuff. How did you get into the business in the first place? You started your first animated show at, what did you say, 8 years old? Mm-hmm. So were you in showbiz before that?
I was. I started doing film when I was 6.
Wow. Right here in Vancouver?
Right here in Vancouver.
So you're born and bred Vancouverite?
Born in Toronto, but mostly been here.
I see.
And my mom took me to a cattle call in the paper.
Wow, really?
Yeah. And went in, it was for a commercial or something, and they said, yeah, maybe you should think about getting an agent. So that was next. And then I remember going out for zillions and zillions of commercials and not getting anything. And them going, oh, well, your eyes are green. You want them to be blue. And me just having fun because I got to miss school and everything.
Exactly.
And then my agent said, oh, well, we might as well, like, why don't you try a few film stuff? And, you know, if you don't land anything, maybe that's it. And,
right.
And then as soon as I got into the more serious, creepy type stuff, game on.
And then how did you wind up in the voice world?
I guess I was so squeaky. And when I was a kid, I could read, which was a real bonus. So I could go in and read the sides off the page. And somehow got in the door, and that was it. Never stopped. Love it.
That's very common with us in the business, isn't it? You sort of do one big job, and then that's it. You're in the gang.
Yeah, for sure.
So your first show was Dino Babies with all of those folks, and then what was the experience like as a young girl being in that situation with all of those crazy voice actors?
Oh, it was hilarious. I just remember laughing all the time. I remember everyone making their scripts into bunny ears. I'd look over, everyone would have bunny ears, and it was just all just so fun. Everyone just making me laugh. And having to pay me when they swore sometimes.
Oh boy! So you said you also teach piano. Mm-hmm. So you and sing. So you have a musical background. So tell us a little bit about that.
Oh sure. Well, my dad is a musician, and was in music sales. So it was expected. No. Well,
following Daddy's footsteps.
It was really cool because he worked in sales, so our house was full of instruments.
Right.
So we could kind of take our pick and dabble in everything. It was super fun.
Yeah, no kidding.
I loved piano always, and singing. I really started when I did Madeline, which I started shortly after Dino Babies.
Right.
And that was like, okay, well, you need to learn how to do 10 harmonies for this song, and just sort of picked it up. So
it comes naturally to you.
Yeah, I mean, piano. I've definitely worked pretty hard over the years.
Yeah.
But
And did you ever take any? Did you ever take any formal training? Did you ever go to school, university, that kind of stuff?
no.
No, nothing like that.
Oh, but for
for
business?
anything, but
Well, I have a degree in civil engineering.
oh, and where was that from? Is that from
UBC.
UBC?
Yeah.
A degree in civil engineering.
Yes.
What exactly is civil engineering?
It's like buildings, and so it could be structures, it could be soil, it could be environment.
But you're not an architect. You're
Nope.
not an architect.
Nope, not that. It's more the architect says, "Oh, I want to build this," and then the engineer goes, "Well, I have to calculate how big the beam has to be." It's that kind of
So you got to do the hard work. The architects,
Yeah.
they
Well,
get whatever
I don't
they want.
actually do any of that.
Right,
so
but,
let's
you know.
not pretend.
But you could. You've got the degree.
In theory.
So what brought you to that? Why you mean you were obviously in showbiz from a young age. What made you go, you know what? Civil engineering degree. Yeah.
That's a really good question. And I wish I could go back in time, but I can't. No, I wanted to go to school, and what's nice about voiceover, even in high school, I was just doing it, maybe once or twice a week. So I thought, oh, I better figure something
real
else
job.
out. Yeah, get a real job. And well, we all see how that worked out.
Indeed we did. I have this constant fear, which I've talked about on the show before, about how I live in this constant fear of one day there's going to be a knock on the door, and it's going to be the men in black suits from the government, and they're going to say, "You have to get a job now. This life of
I
leisure."
thought you were going to say they were going to kick you in the throat.
Well, that would be that's their backup plan. But they're going to say, you've
Don't
lived.
make me. I have this beautiful voice. Kick
Not
in the
anymore.
throat.
Now get to civil engineering school, you.
Oh, I have to calculate soil samples. Oh, no.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Like, after Andrea came on the show, my dreams got a whole lot worse.
She destroyed my career. No, I think that's great that you went to school. I mean, a lot of actors don't. They're just showbiz people. I went to school. I went to university. I did go for drama, but I also had a classics minor, so I studied the Greek and Roman.
So you're good. You
History.
could just do that.
I could
Right?
go and be a guy who.
Just wear a toga.
That's why I got the degree.
That's good.
Was to be able to wear the toga. It's all about the toga. Yeah, no, it's. I think education for its own sake is great, and you always.
Yeah, I wish
have
I'd
it.
picked something a little bit more fun.
Yeah, but you've
It was
already got the
It was
fun.
such hard work. It was so
Yeah, but hard work builds
grueling.
character.
I know, and I remember being like, "Oh, you got a session." I'd be like, "I gotta go test concrete." I don't know why I did that.
Well, I think it makes you a well-rounded person.
Oh yeah, okay.
You've got a general education.
Well,
now.
I'm not qualified to wear a toga, so
Well, not just anybody is.
it's true.
That is that is a very, very, very astute observation. We are running a little short of time on this episode, so this one we're going to move along a little quick. I'm going to kind of screw up my normal.
No.
Yes, I'm going to change
Dun,
the
dun, dun.
order of things. Dun dun dun. Whenever I have guests on the show, I ask them if they have any advice for newcomers. Now, I'm sure you've been asked this before. People who want to get into our business to do work in the voiceover, if you had to sort of distill down a little bit of advice, what would that be?
Well, I'm the worst person to ask because look at me. I was a kid, right? So
Well, no, it's a unique perspective that we haven't
Okay.
had on the show before.
well, if you're a kid,
Get your mom to take you to a cattle call, and then everything works out.
yeah, but you have to be good at reading, and you
Right.
still have to be really quick and good at reading. I
Yes,
guess.
that's true. Even as an adult, that kind of helps.
Yeah, it does. But other than that, whenever I'm asked it, I just copy other people's answers because I have no clue. There's no way. Like, if it was right now and I had to get in, there was no way I would.
Have you never taught this stuff? Have you never taught voiceover work?
No, but I'm hoping to. Well, I'm supposed to.
You're supposed to.
Yeah, with Michael Dangerfield. He's got me lined up to teach a kids course.
Oh,
So.
well, see?
See?
This
See?
is, you're exactly
Yes.
perfectly qualified for this.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's a question coming up from one of the fans about you teaching, and I can't remember exactly what it is, but it'll
Well, there's the answer.
Well, there's the answer.
Ta-da!
We'll just scratch it off the list then. We're going to take a little tiny break, and when we come back, we are going to dive into the questions from the fans. So don't go anywhere.
Hello! I'm Oliver Russell, and I buy your used jewelry and gold. If you have gold, I give you cash. If you have diamonds, bring them to me. I'll give you cash. Bring me your old gold, and I'll give you cash. What are you waiting for? I pay top dollar for your diamonds, used watches, even old broken gold. I'll give you cash. Hey you! Are you holding on to an old locket, picture frame, war medals, engagement ring or wedding ring? Why, he's never coming back. Get real and come on down to Russell's Jewelry. Let's make a deal. Why are you holding on to that old jewelry? You're no longer beautiful. Bring in your used gold and jewelry and abandoned dreams and I'll give you cash.
I'm the cash man. I'll give you money for your gold, yeah. Oh, I'm the cash man. I'll give you money for your gold.
Do you have bone marrow lying around? If you have healthy bone marrow, trade it in for cash. You give me marrow, I give you cash. Dig up Granny and I'll give you money for her useless old bones. I buy femurs, fibulas, tibulas, ribs, skulls and spines. I'll suck that marrow right out and then I give you cash. And if you have a dead child, the younger the better. Why am I stockpiling marrow? Could I be a necrotic ghoul? A centuries-old grave-stalking, bone-drinking, nightmare-made flesh wandering the earth, feasting on the putrefactive essence of the dead? Less questions, more cash! You bring me corpses, and I give you cash!
'Cause I'm the cash man. I'll give you money for your marrow. Oh, I'm the cash man. I'll give you money for your dead loved one's bones. Oh, yeah!
You're listening to Voiceprint with Trevor Devall and Guests.
And we are back with the lovely and talented Andrea Libman. You do a lot of conventions, and especially, I'm assuming, because of the whole My Little Pony thing. How many cons have you done up to this point?
I think I've done 5 or 6 now.
Wow.
Yeah, and I only went to my very first one, not this past November, the one before. So it's only been just over a year.
That's pretty good. 6 cons in a year, that's quite a bit.
It's been crazy. It just kind of started and then never stopped, hasn't stopped
So
yet.
where have you gone? What kind of places have you been to?
I've been to England. I've been to New York. I just got back from Miami. I've been to LA, Cleveland, Calgary.
Cleveland.
Yes.
That tops the list.
Cleveland. Sure does.
When you're talking about New York,
and
LA,
not really
London.
Cleveland. Actually, Strongsville.
Strongsville.
Yeah.
Awesome. I bet you that was the best one.
It was good.
So you meet the fans at these things. Have you done conventions before, like non My Little Pony conventions, or was this your first time on the circuit, so to speak?
It was my first time on this. I've been to a couple of the ones I've been to in the past year have been general ones,
right.
But no, never before.
So, in your experience, what do you think is sort of the biggest difference between a convention that's just about My Little Pony versus like an anime convention or something like that? Is there something that stands out?
Not really, because the ones that I go to, all the My Little Pony fans are there.
Right, so they just flock to you anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they have other stuff there too, but...
Yeah, there's other stuff, but mostly it's just me.
Wow.
And do you have fans coming up to you that, ask you about other stuff, like other shows you've done?
Yeah, I've signed quite a few reboot DVDs,
All right.
which is pretty cool.
Again, that's a very big franchise.
Yeah, and a few Dragon Ball.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's panels, it's autographs, it's all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You obviously enjoy it. You keep going
I
back
do.
for more.
I do.
Well, you and I are going to have a good time
We
in
are.
February at
Vegas, baby.
Las Pegasus in Las Vegas.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Everybody's going to that, I think.
know.
Lee and Sam and I think John Delancey's going to be there. Tara Strong,
Yeah.
of course. Nicole, I think, is going to be there. Just a huge...
Kathy
Westlick.
Mareka.
Mareka's going as well,
Yeah.
yes. These are all people who've been on my show.
Yay!
These are all people on my show. That's going to be a great time, and I can't wait. Cool. Well, let's get right into the meat of things and see what's in the mailbag.
Martin's Mailbag.
Don't ask about the sheep. The segment lovingly named after Martin from YTV, Martin's Mailbag, in which we answer questions from the fans.
And Martin from YTV tells us that here is where you might remember hearing Andrea Libman. My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. She plays Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy. Reboot, the young Andrea, and Monster Buster Club as Kathy. You can still hear your favorite Vancouver voice actors on YTV in League of Super Evil, Kid vs. Cat, Rated A for Awesome, and on Teletoon, Johnny Test, Lego Ninjago, and George of the Jungle. Oh, and a special delivery from Martin's Mailbag will come for Richard Cox, Trevor Devall, and Brad Swale at the Toronto Comic-Con on March 9th to 10th. Moo-ha-ha-ha-ha, says Martin.
So let's get right into it. There are a whole bunch of them. This is from Christina. Hello, Trevor. It's nice to have you back. It's great to see Voiceprint didn't end up in the pod fade, as all of us have feared. Loved you in Big Time Movie, and I have to say my all-time favorite moment is where the helicopter brought in so much force to the point where most of your clothes flew off. No, not only did I laugh out loud, but I also noticed you wore sock garters. How retro is that? Well, that's what I thought too. Anyway, my question for Andrea
Do you want
is...
me to leave?
I gotta blow my own horn. It's my show. Voiceprint with Trevor Devall. You're just the guest part.
That's true.
Anyway, Christina's question for Andrea, it's right here.
Are you sure?
Oh my God. Since you have worked in voiceover for a very long time, going as far from shows such as Reboot and Dragon Ball, I tend to notice that some child voice actors go through a struggle in maintaining their voices for certain characters when they enter into puberty. For example, in Reboot, the staff had to go through 4 different boys for the role of Enzo Matrix due to the time between each session. In your case, do you think female voice actors tend to fare better in maintaining their voice after childhood than do the males? Or do you go through similar struggles as they did? Also, do you prefer playing little girl roles, or do you wish to seek playing older female characters instead? So the first part of that, do you think that female voice actors tend to fare better in maintaining their voices than the little boys?
Well, absolutely, because our voices don't break. And I can't tell you how many shows I've been on where I've watched the guys come in through the door, a new boy every week. That happened on Reboot, like you said, and Madeline too, because there's Pepito, and we just always knew Pepitos and little girls.
This week, the role of Pepito will be played by...
Little girl. I know, poor guys. So, yeah,
Well, look at what happened
them.
at Andrew Francis. When Andrew Francis was, he was a young guy, and then one day,
He was down here.
Yeah, I
Just
know.
like that.
Just crazy.
oh, puberty.
I know. So, yeah, I guess we have it easier that way. And everyone kept thinking that my voice would probably mature, but as you can hear,
It's pretty
it
much the
did
same
not.
from what I've heard.
It's almost exactly the same.
Yeah.
And if I need to go a little bit higher, I can.
See,
So-
that's a gift.
Oh,
That's a
I don't know about
precious
that.
vocal gift. When I go high, I tend to sound like I smoked a pack a day.
Really?
Listen to that. It's like I'm smoking Marlboros. Yay!
Like a chain-smoking alien.
Exactly what I was going for.
So do you prefer playing little girls, or would you rather play more women?
I'd love to play a woman, but I just can't.
What's the
Maybe
deepest? I've
one
heard you
day.
go deep. I've heard you go low.
I've heard you go down
here. But then, it's just, I'm working on it. We'll see. I think I'm just going to transition from little girl straight into grandma.
Oh, wow. Yeah, well, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? This one's from Antonio. 3 questions. 1. Were your friends, family, and colleagues initially supportive in the career you decided to pursue?
Well, I mean, my parents had to be because they're the ones
They
that
thrust
got me
you in
into
it.
it.
That's
so,
right.
Yeah. So, yes.
Number 2. Who and or what inspires you in your everyday ongoings? Oh. You can't say Buddha.
I can't? I think Trevor Devall and Voiceprint every morning when I wake up.
I'll take that. And number 3, probably the most vital question, the most deeply introspective and biting, probing question.
Shaking in my chair.
Do you like tacos?
Yes?
All right.
Who doesn't?
This next one is all the way from Brazil. Hey, Trevor, I don't really have any questions for you, but since it seems nearly all of your fans are in North America, I want to say that you also have at least one fan in Brazil. I found the show out thanks to the ponies, but have found all episodes to be very enjoyable. It was also nice to find out that you did Iron Will.
Well, thank you very much. Iron Will thanks you.
And as for Andrea, I have to say that I'm a big fan of how you can speak so insanely fast. Pinkie Pie for the win, but Fluttershy is great too. Looking forward to hearing the next episode. This is from Renan Greca from Brazil. I hope I'm
How
pronouncing your name right.
positive.
I know,
That's
see?
awesome.
These are very nice
That's
people.
very nice.
Hey there, Trevor and Andrea. I'm a longtime listener of Voiceprint, and back in 2008, I was delighted to hear my fan-made promo featured on the show, for which I am very grateful. Even though I happen to be a brony, I expect Andrea will already have been asked tons of questions about bronies, ponies, and pickled pepperonis. Well, maybe not the last one. And so I have decided to take this opportunity to ask you a genuinely probing question. And here it is. How's the weather? I live in the UK, and over here it's sunny, if a bit chilly, so we're able to enjoy the sun, but we still need those extra layers. That's from Andrew Mortimer. How's the weather?
It's chilly and rainy here too, so you're not missing anything.
It's essentially English weather here.
It's the same, yeah.
Yeah, I think they get a little more snow, but yeah, it's right. It's like I never left London, actually. When I go outside in winter time, it's like, my God, I should go in a tube, get some shelter. This next one's from Zach. Dear Trevor, I'm a huge fan of both your podcast and your voice acting. I love you as Dookie, and Moo has always been one of my favorite sidekicks. I have to ask, I just finished the Kirby Morrow interview where he said that he decided to become a firefighter. Did Kirby succeed? Well, I'm laughing, so what does that tell you? And if he made his dream a reality, has he already died in a fire?
What?
There was a time when Kirby had decided, and it was announced on my show, that he was going to become a firefighter. This was
I can imagine what prompted that.
The calendars?
Yeah.
So it didn't quite pan out the way we all thought.
I saw him in the studio this week.
Yes,
so.
he's still around. He's not a
and
pile of
he wasn't
ash.
fighting a fire.
Just the fire of his own passion.
Yeah.
That's the only...
Well, that's the usual.
Gross. Now on to a different, happier note, says Zach. If you and your guest had to spend a day as one of the characters you provided the voice of, who would it be and why? Well, if I had to spend a day as one of my characters, it would absolutely be Iron Will, so I could actually sound like the character, because apparently I don't, and apparently they need to effect it electronically. Okay, I hope you're listening, my little pony executives.
It's just the tiniest little thing.
It's still mine!
It sounds good.
I know it sounds good. One of my
Well, you could do that, and I could be Fluttershy, and then I could bully you all day long. I mean, teach you important lessons.
That's right.
And make you a better pony.
Or
bull?
Bull? Minotaur. Am I?
Bull
Was that?
pony.
No, he was a
Minotaur.
bull, wasn't he? See, that's
Well,
my
you got a
classics
nose
background.
ring.
I do have a nose ring. He is a bull, but in my mind,
Right?
again, the classics background, the Greek mythology. Clearly, he's a minotaur. He's not a minotaur, but they have unicorns, so why can't they have minotaurs?
Sure.
See, this
yeah,
is
Minotaur.
yeah, he's a
Okay.
minotaur. I don't care what y'all say. Y'all don't care
Nice
what
toga.
y'all say. Thank you. I just had it dry clean. Hey, Trevor and Andrea. I've got a couple of questions for the lovely and talented Andrea Libman. Now, I'm pretty certain you've heard every pony question under the sun. I'm a big fan of Pinkie Pie, by the way, so I'm not going to touch on that. I understand that you recently held a workshop with on-the-mic training, teaching kids the fundamentals of animation and commercial voiceover. What did it feel like to teach kids around the age that you yourself started your career at? Now, did you say you haven't done this yet?
I haven't done it yet.
You haven't done it yet, so
So-
the question is premature.
It is.
You'll have to come back.
I will.
On another
I'll let
episode.
you know.
Maybe in Vegas.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can tell us in Vegas.
That'll be interesting.
Also, I was pleased to find out that you were the voice of X-23 in X-Men Evolution. Coincidentally, your co-star, Tara Strong, has also voiced X-23 in the latest X-Men cartoon, Wolverine and the X-Men. Has this ever come up when you two meet at conventions?
Not between the two of us, but a lot of fans have pointed it out to me online.
Okay, so you've heard
bonds
this
us.
before. It bonds us.
Bonds us.
This is from Blake, by the way. Thank you, Blake. This one is from Bob L. Hey, Trevor, longtime listener. Had a few questions for you and the lovely Andrea Libman. 1, I usually listen to your new shows when I go running, uploading them to my iPhone. The last few times I've done this, I've had to convert the file I downloaded from your site to MP3 because the iPhone thinks the M4A files are videos. Is there a reason you upload the files as M4A files since the shows are audio only? Well, let me tell you, Bob.
I'm so confused.
It's a real technical question.
Okay.
Why do I not have MP3s instead of M4As? Why am I confusing the computers upon which the shows are aired? Bad habit. That's the only answer I have. Bad habit. I really should change it to MP3, but my whole website is undergoing a massive overhaul in the next couple months, so I'm sure I will change it to MP3s. Or something. I don't know. I'll talk to my tech people and give them hell. Number 2, Black Lagoon, Roberta's Blood Trail, has been licensed by Funimation, and I was wondering and hoping, will you be reprising your role as Mr. Chang for a dub? Well, I can tell you, Bob, that if Black Lagoon is now being done by Funimation, that means it'll be done in Texas, and it is very likely that I will not, in fact, be playing that character in that particular... Boo! Well, what are you going to do? I wish all the luck and success to the fellow they get to play Mr. Chang down there in Texas.
No one can do that. No one.
No one down there.
No one!
God damn it! No one!
Finally, Miss Libman. During the Grand Galloping Gala episode, we saw Fluttershy lose her temper when the animals refused to go anywhere near her, and hilarity ensued. Can we look forward to any more such outbursts in the future?
Aw, come on. I can't answer that, but you never know.
You should know better,
We'll see what
Bob.
they come up with.
Yes, they can't. We can never talk about shows, the future, because even though we know,
That's
because
right.
we've recorded them, we can't talk about them.
Just talk about it amongst ourselves.
That's right. As soon as the microphones are shut off, we'll have a lovely conversation. Hey, Trevor and Andrea, my name is Jeff, and I'm a big fan of Voiceprint and of My Little Pony. First of all, I just really want to thank Andrea, and I would like to share a story with her. On October 21st, 2011, I had 4 friends killed by a drunk driver. The next few months after that incident, I was incredibly depressed. I hated the man who killed my friends, and I stayed inside all day. I almost failed every single course, but many of my teachers passed me given the circumstances. It was not a good time in my life. But then in January 2012, I discovered friendship is magic. I had a one-night marathon in which I watched the first season, and the day after got caught up to where the show was in season 2. When I was done with that, I started talking to all of the bronies in the forum that I had founded on. They turned out to be an amazingly supportive group of people. They stopped me from killing myself on 2 occasions. Talking to these bronies and watching the show has completely changed my life around. It rekindled my love of life, and through them, I even managed to forgive the drunk driver that killed my friends. Because of them, my love of acting and dreams of being a voice actor were also rekindled. I hope to someday do voice acting in Vancouver, and I've actually gotten a couple of voiceover lessons from Kathy Westlick over Skype. So, after all of that, my question for both Andrea and Trevor is this. If you could work on any show in the world, with any voice actor in the world, who and what would it be?
Wow.
Quite the tale.
That is. That's pretty amazing.
It is.
Yeah. Well, I know this is pretty corny, but I feel pretty lucky living and working here in Vancouver with the people that we do. Everyone's just amazing, hilarious. I don't know. I wouldn't change that. If there was going to be, I don't know. What do you think?
That's a tough call, but it's an interesting question because I was sitting with Ian Corlett the other week.
And he's like, get me out of here.
Yeah, he's like, get me out. What am I doing? I gotta go back home and be curmudgeonly. No, we were having lunch and I was talking about the possibility of working with some of my heroes, and wouldn't it be great to work with some of my heroes in LA and stuff. And he said to me, we're the heroes now. And I went, what? He said, well, look around who you work with. We're the heroes now. And I kind of went, oh, yeah, but not my heroes.
That's pretty cool.
I thought that was a very nice thing, because he's kind of right.
Totally.
When I'm sitting in session and I look over at my colleagues working, any of them. But, like the other day I'm in session with Tabitha and Brian Drummond and Colin Murdoch and, again, all of whom have been on the show. And just watching them perform. And I'm just like, I can't believe I'm here right now. Being part of this.
Well, I can't even believe I've, been in the industry for so long and hearing someone you know so well, and it's something totally new. You're like, I had no idea you could do that.
Yeah.
And that sounds amazing.
Yeah, after all these years.
Yeah.
And they pull this thing out of nowhere. If I had to pick, I think oh boy, this is a tough call. If I had to pick, I would love to work with Billy West of Futurama. I think he's tremendously talented, and I would love to get the chance to meet the guy, to do a show with him. And who knows? Who knows what the future may bring?
Yeah, you never know. I'm a huge fan of Nancy Cartwright.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll go down to LA and we'll do a
That
little
sounds
session
good.
with them.
Well,
I'll
hey.
set it up through Voiceprint.
Hey, you guys want to hang out? What's going on?
Come on, we're a couple of hip Canadians.
Restraining orders.
Security. Get these crazy people away. This is from Aaron. Hi, Trevor and Andrea. You guys are awesome. I love you both. And today I have a question not related to the business. I just went through my first breakup. So I was wondering how you two handle breakup situations. Do you tend to be the dumper or the dumpee? Or does it tend to balance out? Is there something you do to comfort yourself after the split? So, Andrea, are you the dumper or the dumpee?
I've been on both ends, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, I'm not
Pardon
going to
the
lie.
pun?
Yeah. Oh.
It was just asking for it.
Yeah,
It was
it was. Yeah, well, I think we can both agree that red wine is really the answer.
To all of life's little problems.
It is, yes.
What was that Homer said?
Beer, the cause of and solution to all of life's little problems.
Oh, that's really good.
What, the beer? Yeah, I know.
Yeah, the beer. Give it to me.
Give it to me now. I've been dumped. That's true. But I have to say, in the long run, I'm the dumper. I'm the guy doing the dumping.
Yeah, I thought so.
I'm not proud of that fact. But the fact, it's true. Sometimes a man has to move on. And, well, baby, it's not your fault. It's not you. It's me. And other cliched gems can be yours if you order now. This next one is from Jonathan Burford. I'm not sure if I pronounced that properly. In San Antonio, Texas. Hello, Trevor, longtime fan and listener. I would like to say thank you for creating such a wonderful podcast. It has kept me quite entertained during my daily commutes to work. First off, I would like to thank your guest Andrea for her many roles, especially her work on My Little Pony, which keeps the attention of my younger sister hours on end. My question to both of you is, if there was a zombie apocalypse, name 3 fellow voice actors you would choose to be in your surviving group, and why?
What?
If there was a zombie apocalypse.
I heard you.
3 voice actors you have in your surviving group, and why?
Oh.
Should have given you some prep time on this one.
Yeah, no kidding. I don't know. Well, it could be anyone. Everyone's so entertaining. Maybe Tabitha. She has a lot of skills. She
Like
can,
what?
Make clothes and
Oh,
stuff.
that's good. She could make clothes. All right, so Tabitha St. Germain.
Yeah.
What else? Who else? You got 2 more.
Maybe Brian Drummond,
Why?
because he's a parent and
He comes with liabilities, man. He comes with kids. That's
no
no
well,
good.
he's
They
good.
slow you down.
He's smart. He's a good decision maker.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's 2.
Yeah.
Who's the 3rd?
And they both. Well, I guess it could be you.
as the fodder, as the guy you leave behind to be eaten so that you can make your escape.
Yeah, bait.
Bait. I don't think I'd want
Maybe
that
you
as a
could
nickname.
date some of the zombies and then dump them.
All right. All right.
Okay.
Oh, there's no stopping with you. There's no shame with you. All right. This is from Mark. Hello, Mr. Devall. A couple of questions. 1, if someone close to you, like a family or friend, tells you that they want to get into the voiceover business, will you give them your full support, or will you tell them lies to keep them at ease?
What? What kind of lies?
Well, like
Like, I hate it.
okay, so
I woke up today crying.
I had to go back to work. It was awful. I just spent 2 hours with these crazy people. So if someone, a good friend of yours, let's say, came up to you and said, Andrea, I just want to say that I really think that I want to get into voice because I've seen you for so many years and I just think it'd be awesome. So do you think I could get in? Like, you think I'd make it? You think I'd be good at it?
Well, you have to follow your dream. And if it's your number one passion and that's what you care about the most and your heart is just 100% there, then you have to go for it. There's no question.
So your answer is you will tell them lies then?
Yes. Well, I'm a big liar face. I've been lying this whole time. Was I supposed to tell truthful answers?
No.
Oh, good.
No, this entire this entire show is a sham. It's a facade. Second, this is Mark's second question. I'd like to know the opinion of whether any future educational institution that offers voiceover as part of the curriculum to upcoming voice actors will work in North America. I asked this because the voice actors in Japan have most of their educational background coming from these voice schools, although the older generation had their acting background based from sort of more dramatic schools. So the question is, do we know, I guess, of any schools coming up or in the area that are specific to voice?
Well, you don't you teach?
I do teach, but I teach at other institutions. So I'll teach at Vancouver Film School, and their focus is obviously on camera stuff. I do a 6-week course with the students, so it's a blip. I run in and go, hey, you could also do this, and then I'm gone. But what about Michael Dangerfield? He's started a proper school, hasn't he?
It is, yeah. That's all they do is voice training. It's called On the Mic.
And it's based here in Vancouver.
It's based here in Vancouver.
And does he have any kind of online component right at this point, or is it just in the city? You got to be here to take part.
Yeah, as far as I know for right now. But there's lots of people that offer Skype training.
Yeah, that's true. In fact, I think Kyle Hebert, a colleague of ours in Los Angeles, again, who's been on the show, does that. I think he has a program where I think it's called like, So You Want to Be a Voice Actor or something like that.
And Stevie Valance is another person that does that.
Yeah. So I mean, schools for voice is kind of a weird concept because none of us went to school to be voice people. And we certainly didn't take a course. I've got my degree in funny voices. It doesn't exist.
No.
And I don't see that changing anytime in the future because honestly, I think that really the voice world finds you. Don't you think?
I think so. Yeah,
there's a certain commonality in the personalities of the people that work in the business.
But there are things to know, and it's just whether or not you're lucky enough to learn on the job. But a lot of people don't have that opportunity, right? Like where's your mouth supposed to be, and
and
headphones and technique, and
exactly.
All that
and
stuff,
you know what? That's what I teach. That's what I teach in my courses.
Well, it's very important.
Yeah, the stuff you need to know when you walk in the room. I kind of I designed my courses to be everything I wish I knew when I started, but didn't.
Yeah.
Because you really can't teach anything else. I mean, otherwise, you can teach technical stuff, but in the end, it is sort of on the job and just
definitely
yourself into the room and the part. And anyway, into this thing. Hello, Mr. Devall. I just recently discovered your podcast, and I'm completely addicted to it. I'll keep this short. Great job, and please continue to produce more episodes. I just have about 2 questions for the both of you. For both you and Ms. Libman. One of my fantasies since I was younger was to watch a cartoon with an all-star cast featuring actors from both LA and Vancouver. This has kind of happened with David Kaye moving to Los Angeles, or James A. Taylor flying up for Johnny Test. Have either of you or fellow actors had this idea too? I know Mr. Devall is quite the Star Wars fan and would love to do something with Mark Hamill. Hasn't James Taylor worked with him? Use that connection. So the question here is, have you ever thought about working with somebody down there? I mean, we kind of talked about this already a little bit, like if you could work with anybody. I know for myself, to directly answer this, James Taylor he's Johnny on Johnny Test, that's how I know him. And he's good friends with Mark Hamill. And I'm sure I have a very positive feeling that when I go down to Los Angeles, I might have a little chit-chat. Yes, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Exciting.
Yes, we'll see. I mean, this is just my plan. Nobody else knows about this. But this is
now
my
they
plan.
do.
Now they do. Now it's on the interwebs. Now it's beamed into space. For Ms. Libman, I remember you on Reboot, where you played the original younger version of Andrea. How do you say? Andrea. What is it like being a child voice actor? Well, we've
talked about that.
We've covered that. I think we've covered that. That's from James D. This one's from Simon. Hey, Trevor, been a fan of yours for a while. I like the range you portray in anime and the like. Honestly, your rendition of Mula Flaga in Gundam Seed was probably my favorite performance thus far. Thank you. I also find your podcasts insightful and funny. You seem to have such a great working relationship with the entire Vancouver VO crew. When I listen, I get the impression that you're having a lot of fun doing the podcasts.
That's untrue.
Yeah, that's crap, actually. I can't stand any of them. Andrea is a shining example of everything that I hate about actors. And
is that why the heat's turned up so
that's
high?
That's right. It's pretty hot under the lights.
Sweat it out.
Isn't it, Libman? Sweat out your evil. My question is this. Did you do any voice work? Oh, this is for me. Did you do any voice work for the ultra-popular game League of Legends? Because I swear to God, when I'm playing my favorite champion, Jace, it sure sounds a lot like you. Well, Simon, I gotta tell you that in fact I am. Jace, yes, well done.
Ooh,
well spotted.
Good ear.
Good ear. Hello, Andrea. This question is for both you and Trevor. There will always be people who scoff at anything creative or artistic as a career. They don't take you seriously. They ask you what you're really going to do with your life. They call you lazy, or they try to dissuade you from your dream. I'm sure you have ways of handling these people. If the men in black suits come for you, Trevor, run. See? I told you I've mentioned that before. But
protect the throat.
That's right. But has that lack of support or opposition ever come from someone close to you, like a parent or a significant other? It's harder to let slings and arrows bounce off when they're thrown by the people you love. If you've ever felt attacked, looked down on, or treated skeptically by someone close to you, how did you overcome the situation and keep it from hurting you and your dreams? That's from Emily.
Wow. Well, I don't get that from those close to me. I don't know about you, but if you know someone that's involved in the business and how much they're working and being successful, then they understand and they know when you're coming from, where you're coming from. But for me, it's when I meet someone new. I almost dread it. And they go, what do you do? And you tell them, and they may not be familiar with what that is. So you have to explain. And then, oftentimes it's a little condescending. So, okay, how often do you do that? Like once a month? Or so what else do you do? Like,
yeah, what's your real job?
I don't know. So sometimes I don't even mention it. I'm a piano teacher. And
yeah,
I don't know, because it's just, when you get into it, you have to explain.
You know what? I've had the exact
Yeah.
same experience. And for years, I would go to parties knowing that this conversation would come up. And I would invariably, I would want to say, well, I'm a, I'm a plumber.
Yeah.
Or I'm a tax auditor for the
I
federal
know.
government. I wanted to say something that nobody wanted to talk about. But I was like, it's going to come out. I'm at a party. I'm in a good mood. And, of course, the voices, the accents. And, of course, it all happens. But it does become... At a party, it's one thing. I'll tell you, I was on a plane coming home one day from
then
somewhere.
you're trapped.
Then you're trapped. You can't do anything.
Oh.
And I'm sitting beside this rather attractive woman. And I get talking to her a little bit. And she, of course, says, what do you do? And I said, well, I do cartoon voices for a living. Now, I had become used to people going, at least, oh, really?
Yeah,
What have you done? That's so cool, right?
Yeah.
Her immediate response is, oh, and does it pay the bills?
No! Oh, no.
And I wanted to say to her, pay the bills, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Let me send you my tax return.
Yeah.
But, I'd never had that reaction before. I'd never had that
that's
sort of
so
like,
brutal.
that pitying, so you couldn't get a real job then, I was like, really? And now I'm stuck with you for 2 hours?
Worse.
Oh.
Well, but you know that's something that's really nice about meeting fans and conventions is that everybody knows the business. So, you don't get that. The question, I get it from a few parents because
Right.
their kids are fans.
Right.
So they're, how does this work? And but
Why are you here?
But it's so nice to hear from fans that know what you do and they respect it and they admire and they want to get into it. So it is nice.
Yeah,
But
and it's a full-time job. I mean, I don't have any other
Yeah.
job. This is it. This has been my day job for 12 years.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same with everybody in the family.
Yeah.
Everybody in the family. It was funny because Sam Vincent and I, before Christmas, we were at this wonderful Scotch bar and sitting at the bar, imbibing and having a wonderful old time. And in our stupor, we said, what we should do? We should make a list of all the people who
In the family?
in the family, other people who work together all the time because it's not the same people. You're always working with the same people. So let's do it. Let's just okay. Let's start with the Jigs. Who are the Jigs? And we went through and we listed, and it's about 30 people that
Is it
do
really?
all the work.
Wow.
32.5.
We're going to have a Christmas party next year.
I think we should.
Our own party.
I think we should.
Yeah,
and
we
invite
will.
no one.
Just the family.
Just the family.
Just the family.
Welcome to this on the date of my beautiful daughter's wedding.
This is from Graham. Hello again, another massive fan. Ms. Libman. I'm not familiar with your work, but I've heard great things.
From who?
I understand that many of the Vancouver talent pool have other skills that they incorporate into their roles, like singing, other languages. What do you incorporate into any of your more prominent roles? Well, we've talked about the singing.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else? Any other hidden talents that you have, my dear?
Well, I speak French,
Oh,
and I
mais oui.
do work in French.
Really?
I do.
So do you do like French commercials and stuff? Is it or
I do the voice of Barbie for toys in French.
you are Le Barbie?
Le Barbie.
Le Barbie?
Bonjour, je m'appelle Barbie.
Oui,
Comment ça va?
c'est ça, Le Barbie. Oh.
Oui, le Barbie.
Très belle.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Wow. See? You're multi-talented. I only speak French accent.
Well, yeah. That's good too.
And not a very good one at that. This is from Rose. Hi, Trevor. I love all your podcasts. I sincerely hope I'm emailing my question to the right place. Yes, well, yes, there you are, yes. Anywho, my question is, were there any funny moments during recording, presumably of My Little Pony? Secondly, if you could voice any character in the show, My Little Pony, who would it be?
Was this for me?
This is
for you?
for both of us here. So, any funny moments during recording? Well, I've only been in the show a few times. I played those 3 or 4 characters, I think. So not the occasional session, but not.
Well, I think what happens a lot is I get so high pitched that everyone's on the ground screaming and plugging their ears.
I have heard that.
Yeah,
I've been on the receiving
everyone's
end
been
of
there.
it.
It's
She's
quite
not
shocking
lying.
for guests on the show that don't know that maybe they need to remove their headphones.
My ears are bleeding.
Exactly. And I've got Tabitha on one side and Ashley on the other, and
Right.
poor both of them.
Right.
So it's funny
it's
for
funny
me,
for you.
It's sad for them. I don't know. Does that answer the question?
I think. And okay, so if you could voice any other character in the show besides the 2 main ones that you do, would there be any other character?
No, my character's the best.
Exactly. I agree. Hi, Trevor. I'm a big fan of your show. This is from Ernie in New Jersey. Ernie in Jersey. I think you and the guests are hilarious, and I hope one day you get a chance to interview one of the New York City-based voice actors. I have 3 questions. One to you, one to Andrea, and one to both. To Trevor, when you do multiple accents, do you look up different accents from each region of the world, like a Cockney accent compared to a Lancashire accent? Do I look up different accents from each region of the world? Yeah, I do if I have to research something that I don't already know. I've been blessed with the ability to do a lot of accents, mostly cartoon accents as opposed to real ones. But I will do, for example, I had to do a Norwegian accent at one point last year.
Really?
And I was like, you know what? I'm actually going to do what people should do and like get a DVD or a CD, how to do the accent. And I did.
Really?
And it was hilarious.
Was
because
it?
I couldn't stop laughing because it was not a Norwegian accent CD. It was a Northern Scandinavian accent. So you go through this whole thing and they teach you how to do the accent, and then they have you read a little thing at the end. And I couldn't get through it because I kept laughing so hard. Because what they had you reading was, I think it was like the Declaration of Independence. We, the people of the United States, do hereby solemnly swear to yada, yada, yada. I think that's the Declaration. I'm not an American. I don't know. But when you say it in that accent, it comes out, we, the people of the United States, do hereby swear to solemnly...
The Swedish meatballs.
In Chichki bork, bork, bork. And I just could not stop laughing. But yes, the answer is yes.
Did it work?
No.
Oh, no.
I just wound up watching the Swedish Chef off of the Muppets instead. And it was about as helpful. To Andrea, do you often get a chance to talk to fellow My Little Pony co-star Tara Strong, despite the fact that she lives in LA and you in Vancouver?
Well, yeah, now that we're doing conventions, we see each other quite a bit.
Quite a bit, because she's at all of them, you're at all of them.
She is,
so
yeah.
that's
It's
very
great.
cool. And to both of us, what is the character that you both voice the best that you can relate to, and why?
Oh, I always say that I can relate to Madeline the most because her story is she's the little girl and she's the smallest of all, and I was always the smallest. Still am kind of the smallest, so I can relate to her.
So you're sort of method acting when you were doing...
Yes, when I was 8.
and I too, I was method acting when I played Iron Will. I really, because I am a bull.
Well, yeah, you came in with that nose ring.
I did. And the horns. I had the horns on.
And that blue suit.
Yeah, and I had you take that cleaver and cut off a flank so you could have a steak of my ass.
That was
Remember
delicious.
that? Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Fried Trevor ass flank. Okay. Oh, if only I edited the show. Hi, Trevor. Here I am yet again. This is from Carolina. Caroline, I'm not sure. Sending you an email with a wishful thinking that someday you'll read it. Well, look
Here
at
you
that.
go.
Congratulations.
Wish
Merry
granted.
Christmas. Wish fulfilled. I'm a huge fan of yours. I've listened to every single one of your interviews and listened to a ton of your roles in voice acting. You're so funny and your voice is so amazing. You're just amazing in general. Do tell. I'm actually a Brazilian, but I'm currently living in China. I go to an American school there, and this may or may not come as a surprise to you, but me and a ton of my friends from school all just go on super fangirl mode when we listen to your podcast. We come from all over the world, too. Oh my god, that's so awesome, guys. Oh my god.
That's like so awesome.
That's like the best thing ever. Anyways, I just thought I'd give this another try. As a request, I would love it if you could try to interview Willow Johnson. You know, the lovely voice actress who plays Kikyo in Inuyasha, Kasume and Ranma, and Starlight in My Little Pony Tales. Those are just the ones I know, but there are tons more. I adore her, and she's so talented, and it would literally make me screech in happiness if you could bring her to the podcast. Well, I don't know Willow. I know the name, but I'm not even sure if she's here or elsewhere. But I'll tell you what, I will put the feelers out, and if she's around, or if I can engineer an interview with her, I will certainly do that, Carolina. And thanks for listening all the way from China. Continue to listen to podcast from Trevor Devall, broadcasting into Red Country. I don't know. That's right, I'm smashing.
Yeah, how do they even get it in there?
Yeah,
You have to smuggle it.
No kidding. This
Yeah.
is so cool.
You better not screech with joy. Someone will hear you.
Well done.
It's Trevor's podcast!
Well, you've just sent them all to a gulag, which apparently now they have in China, I guess. I've just decided. All right. Hi, Trevor from the land down under. Please read in an Australian accent. I was wondering, Andrea, is there any difference between how MLP G3 and G4 are run and produced? As in, was G3 approached in a different way to G4? Also, I was wondering, Travis, thank you Tabitha, that's her little pet name for me, what would your character on Stormhawk sound like if you had one? You had Warhorse in mind for MLP. Is there someone like that for Stormhawks too? Keep up the awesome work, Luke. All right. So, Andrea.
Completely different. Everything changed between Generation 3 and Generation 4, because I worked on the previous My Little Pony, and it was just very cute and soft, and everything was just smiles, and the lines could never be the least bit edgy. Everything had to be. It was geared for 4 to 5 year old
G-rated,
girls.
right?
Yeah, and which is nice and lovely. So, but it was a huge change when the new one came along, and there was jokes and all kinds of different things, and the characters were so developed and had a big range. So, yeah, huge difference.
Cool. And to answer your question, Luke, what would my character on my hypothetical character on Stormhawks be? Well, I think if I was to have a character on Stormhawks, he would have to have arms, legs, a head, and more importantly, a voice. You see, I don't care, Luke. I don't care what the character would be. I just wanted to be on it. And they never let me, Luke. They never let me. So, with that said, I would like to have been the Stormhawk. The actual Stormhawk.
Yeah, and then they could rename the show.
That's right.
Trevor Stormhawk.
Trevor Stormhawk. They named the show. Now Trevor Stormhawk goes out among the people.
Animal.
That's right. I go and I have my spirit journey to find myself in Stormhawk. I don't think we've ever done that accent on the show.
Really?
I don't think we're allowed.
Probably not. Cut.
Hello, Mr. DeVal. I'm a short-time listener and first-time writer. After hearing your interview on Everfree Radio, I downloaded and listened to all of your episodes. Congratulations on such a good podcast. I listen to it at work to help me keep focus. I don't even know how that works, given the hilarity of some of your shows. It just does. Might I say that I enjoy both your and Andrea's voice acting on My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. I am always amazed by how varied both of your capabilities are in terms of being about to act convincingly in character. The thing that drew me into the show to begin with was the well-known yay scene at the beginning of the episode Sonic Rainboom and the comically shy portrayal of Fluttershy in that scene. I am always impressed by the voice acting in general on the show, but I particularly enjoy the small utterances that Andrea brings to her performances that make the dialogue seem far more natural and real. My watching the show has inspired me to take up art again and continues to draw, pardon the pun, continues to draw me to strive to become a better artist. I have come a long way since I picked it up again and hope to continue to develop my skills. I know you wanted a picture of Iron Will drawn, Trevor, in a flattering light, but your sign-off on the Ever-Free Radio and Fancy Pants' voice deserved drawing, and I thought I could at least have a go. A massive thank you to Andrea for being indirectly responsible for me resuming such an enjoyable hobby.
Yay.
Isn't that lovely? To the question!
Oh,
yes, there's a question
okay.
here. For both you and your wonderful and talented guest, how would you render a Yorkshire accent?
Oh, I have no clue.
I am from
I'll
Yorkshire.
Let you do that one.
In my experience, no one can pull it off. Although
Like a Yorkshire Terrier?
That's a nice dodge, yes. He's never heard a voice actor try. This is from Robin Stevens, a Yorkshireman. Yorkshire down there. Well, I can't go and say that I can do a precisely good Yorkshire, but I know that somewhere up there in northern England sounds a bit like that, so I don't know if that's proper Yorkshireman or not. But it'll have to do.
That's Downton Abbey.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Is that Yorkshire?
Well,
I don't know.
They're
It
from
is.
all over. Yeah.
What are that? They're multicultural up there, aren't they?
They are. Multi-British.
Oh, the multicultural up there. Anyway, that's my feeble, half-drunk attempt. Gulliver is our final question. Hey, Trevor, just a couple of questions for Andrea. Following graduation, how much time did you spend working in civil engineering? Someone has done their homework, obviously. At any point, did you see it becoming your career? Or did you always know that you go into voice acting?
No, when I was in school, I thought that was what I would do. I kept thinking, oh, my voice is going to change or the work is going to end. I kept thinking that's going to happen. And I just worked in it. I did like work experience they call it co-op.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a couple of those and wasn't too passionate about it. And then, as soon as I graduated, I just started getting more work. So
there was no time to explore the wacky world of civil engineering.
We can't really, just dibble-dabble in it. It's either, go or don't, right?
Yeah,
so,
you can't really just dip your toes
can
in the
I
pool.
just have 3 afternoons off a week to record my series?
I'm a civil engineer, 6 hours a week, and a voice actress, 10 hours a week.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's gonna work well for all the people in the office. They're really gonna enjoy that.
Second question, what would be your go-to piano piece if someone asked you to play something for them?
Oh, it's Claire de Lune by Debussy.
Well, there you go. Wow,
Mm-hmm.
a precise and easily rendered response.
Yes.
That'll do it for the questions.
Awesome questions.
Awesome questions. Yes, there were some great ones in there. I do appreciate it. That'll essentially wrap up our show here.
Wow.
Now, normally at the end of a show, I announce the next guest. However, the next show is going to be... it's going to be something special. I did an episode way back, I believe it was episode 13, called Behind the Toronto Con, where I recorded the experience of the voice actor at a convention. So to sort of give the fans an idea of what the experience was from the actor's perspective.
Very cool.
So yeah, I think I'm going to do something similar for the Las Pegasus Convention in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, February 22nd, I think it is. 22nd to the 3rd. So Andrea will be there, no doubt. You'll be making your second appearance on the show.
There.
And all kinds of people will be there. So there's no actual questions to write in because, there's not going to be any time. But by all means, check that out. And we will resume our regular broadcast day as soon as that convention is over. And I will announce on my website, trevordevall.com, who the next guest is. In the meantime, if you have any questions for me whatsoever or comments or anything at all, you can send them in to Voiceprint at trevordevall.com. Don't forget to follow us. There's a Voiceprint page on Facebook. And you can follow me on Twitter at Trevor Devall. Andrea, it has been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was fun.
Yes, and we'll do it again.
We will.
From sunny
in Vegas.
Las Vegas.
Vegas, baby.
That's it for me. That's it for Andrea. And we will see you on the flip side.